on par with his own. Therefore, let's simply break this bread and go on. There wasn't much of a bond between Pimp and Jay. Really, a pimp. On a recording of an industry professional who would disrupt the internet. You seem to have seen it. Hip-hop fans are now grieving the unexpected passing of popular Port Arthur rapper Pimp C, who was half of the rap trio and was born Chad Butler. UGK and was discovered deceased in a Los Angeles hotel room this morning. His mother believes that he was poisoned, and that a very dubious, odd person was with him when he died away. There is a Bun B person who has finally discussed something that fans have been wondering about for years. Pimp C and Beyonce's alleged secret video. No one ever knew what was really on the tape or if it even existed, despite the fact that this myth had been around for a while. Bun B has revealed additional information about this recording and he alluded to the video as a major factor in Jay-Z's feud with Pimp C, but some fans are now conjecturing that the issue is more complex than that. Particularly considering that Pimp C passed away under dubious circumstances on Jay-Z's birthday. Were never adequately described. Because of health concerns, it was officially declared an accident. However, a lot of people have questioned this, including Pimp's mother, who always thought her son was removed, and that might possibly be the reason why the alleged footage was never removed. Appeared in the public eye. Jay's empire may have been seriously threatened if Beyonce was indeed on the clip. What specifically did Beyoncé say about the tape rumor, then? What is the connection between all of this and Pimp C's death at age 33? Let's dissect it. Look, guy, you know what I mean when I say that you miss me with the __. Man, you see me on the street. Your jewelry seems amusing. Hello. Guy, just turn around, guy. Man, we do not want to be in your presence. Everyone is aware of the wild story that has been circulating around a secret recording purportedly involved in 2000. And you recall the tune was all over the place if you were outdoors at the time. However, the collaboration wasn't as seamless as the finished song suggested. There was apparently a lot of hostility between Pimp C and Jay behind the scenes. According to some accounts, Pimp C wasn't initially attracted to Jay, particularly because of Jay's feud with Tupac, and he wasn't interested in joining any track only for influence. You are aware of the South's devotion to Pac. Hence, Pimp C was not going to overlook Jay and Pac's problems. Dame Dash worked hard to make it happen, according to Greg Taylor, the former manager of UGK, who stated there was a lot of back and forth. Even so, he consented to give UGK $1 million. To join the track, check. Money, you would think, would seal the deal. Pimp, however, was unimpressed. Taylor claims that when he informed Pimp about the offer, Pimp recommended that they donate the million to Tupac's mother, who is the mother of Feni Shakur, rather than accepting it. Because, you know, I knelt at the house? I said, hey, I'm thrilled. I have $1 million. This is it. Rockefeller is the shit, they're not. I'm the pimp, and they're __, sparring, so I calmed them down, and once Pimp locked in, he said, wait a minute, Rock, isn't that where Jay-Z is? I said, yeah, but I didn't see the connection, and he said, tell him to give that check to Tupac Mama and give it to him for stealing. Pimpy was on the phone, believing it was just him and his gang chatting, but he went on his quest for me once I let him hear that Tupac. I'm like, what? I placed him on that Pac life point. And you're claiming that Jay heard him say that? Yo. Yes, Jay heard him. He heard him because I had to stand up and apologize for this. Jay-Z was surreptitiously on the line listening in, and he caught all the slurs Pimp was hurling at him. To clean that, __, up quickly because I was like, I didn't realize he was in the room. So when I saw home there, I was like, and I told him that he had to come down and go see them and go talk to Mama and, go to lunch with them and go to dinner with them and sit down and... Pimp did, and he had studied music, so it was simply a game. He wouldn't break bread with you if you didn't sit down to supper with him and his mother. He was a different guy. His mother had invested in his profession, he had studied orchestral music, and he was aware of music from the Conservatory of Art. They were like a rural version of Run DMC. He and Bun were fantastic, wonderful artists, the new ghetto guys. By the time people saw them, hip-hop and rap had become the counterculture down there. They were the new ghetto lads, as Jay Prince had described them. Fortunately, Nick went to Atlanta, and we were able to connect him with Short. Short just put the game down, and that was it. They missed the first 2 Jay-Z albums as a result, which created a commotion. The following time, I knew not to contact Pimp since he and Jazzy were at odds. Pimp C finally consented to join Big Pimping, but let's face it, they were never really close. Even though the song was a huge hit, Pimp C never really connected with it like everyone else did, and to him, it was just another song. Bun B claims that it required some major reverse psychology to persuade Pimp C to consider recording the track with Jay. Let's just break the bread and go on. My project, I was paid to be on Big Pimp. We didn't have that connection, and to be honest, I don't believe Pimp would have taken a Jay-Z verse as being of same importance to him. You know what I mean? I ended up getting the feature, but Pimp and Jay didn't really have a connection in that sense. There was a lot of respect for each other, but HOV and I were always closer. You understand? Well, no, it was really simply that we put in a lot of effort to get here, and we're successful now because we're exactly who we've always claimed to be. And dirty, most. You know what I mean? To get that stage and perhaps throw it all away because this guy wants to give you money to perform a verse on a beat that you would never rap to. We've published a highly lauded album, a gold album, and not a single music video. You see what I mean when I say that it felt like a lot, and it took a lot to convince him to reconsider his involvement to the point where I really prefer reverse psychology, so don't do it. We won't do it. I'm just telling you that, __, we won't do it because you don't want to do it. __, it. Don't even work. __, it. He was happy that it worked well, but Big Pimping wasn't in his top 10 UG. You see what I mean? Okay, Pee-wee. __, it. I'm going to do it, dude. No, not in that way. He didn't even want to sing another song, but here is where things get very sticky. According to insiders like Pimp and Ken, Pimpy had a crazy rumor that he had a relationship with Beyonce before she formally started dating Jay. It seems that you have seen the secret video that Pimp and Bey created together. Did Pimp really have a recording of someone in the business that would go viral online? We're still trying to figure out who was on this Pimp C video, but all I can say is that there was a well-known R&B girl and that it was a guy who was making money at the time. Hey buddy, tell them who it is. He had a camcorder, so he occasionally used it to record footage while he was in the studio. I don't know why he didn't do anything with it, but if I had gotten hold of that tape, I would have been a billionaire. Hey, whoever it was, they would have had to kill. Man, I know that TMZ would have paid a fortune for that one, but it's a recording, and if you read the comments, you'll see that many people came to the conclusion that Jay was very domineering over Beyonce, particularly at the beginning of their relationship. Bun B even claimed that Jay expelled him and Slim Thug from the Check On It video shoot because Beyonce's attire was too skimpy. Let's listen to Bun B's story. According to him, this occurred during the early days of Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship. So, we're on the set, recording the video, and if you look at it, you'll see that there are a lot of tight clothing. It's not like I'm sitting there drooling over another lady since Queen is also there. Jay-Z calls and says, "Yeah, how's the video going?" "It's going well, I see." "Are the men present?" "Yes, they are present. You know, it's them and some of their homies." He's like, "Wait a minute. What's the number of guys there?" She then says, "Oh, I guess there are 9 or 10 guys over there." "Now, where are they?" As they see her film, they are on the sound stage. "What is she wearing?" They explain her attire. "Yo, clear the room," he says. I guess Beyonce gets wind of the call. She comes up and she apologizes. "I'm so sorry you guys had to leave the room, but Jay's not comfortable." And we're like, "No, we understand perfectly. Correct?" Then there was the reported incident when Jay supposedly had Case's Happily Ever After film with Beyonce removed from YouTube. The reason why you can't locate Case's happily ever after video with Beyonce is, well, this. Given that Beyonce was purportedly 17 years old when she appeared in this film, Jay-Z most likely made some phone calls and got the video taken down. You can only imagine how Jay would feel if he discovered Pimp was seeing Beyonce before he did. That created a secret recording. And here is where it gets even worse. Pimp B passes away unexpectedly on Jay-Z's birthday, just after industry insiders began chatting about the hearsay tape between Beyonce and Pimp B. Occurred. Pimp B was working on new music and preparing for a two-short show at the Mandarin Hotel in West Hollywood in early December 2007. He was scheduled to return home to Texas on the morning of December 4, and his wife Chinera and cousin Ed were waiting for him at the airport. Sadly, Pimp was declared dead soon after at the age of 33, and the coroner determined that his death was unintentional. However, when Chinera contacted the hotel to check on him that morning, they discovered him unconscious in his room. Pimp's manager allegedly saw Pimp's body in the hotel room and said the room appeared to have been shot up. "Rick called me on Sunday night or something, claiming a combination of sleep apnea and heavy lean use. Pimp was over my house on Saturday morning, Friday night. He contacted me on Saturday morning, maybe on Sunday night or Monday early, or whatever, and said, 'I have something to share with you.' And I thought, what? And he says, 'Let me confirm. It's accurate, and I will give you a call back.' Something occurred, but I'm still heading to Pimp's hotel. And I asked myself, what took place? He said something like, 'They refused to inform me over the phone. They stated, they tell me face to face. See security when I arrive, I guess.' He stepped inside and found Pimp's corpse, which was still there. He said that Pimp seemed to be lying down in prayer, but it was. Blood was all over the bed as if he had thrown it up, but they believed he had been shot in the head. They were unsure of what had occurred since they saw him kneeling as if he had been praying and the candles were completely burned. He often lit these large, tall candles to help him sleep because I believe he had sleep apnea, so they knew he had likely been dead for a day or something. They also liked that he burned the candle all the way down. Must have been dead for some time. Now, if lean OD was the reason, why would the walls and bed be covered in blood? An OD doesn't often resemble a gunshot wound. DJ Paul then claims that candles were lit because Pimp B had sleep apnea. What exactly does it mean? Candles have nothing to do with sleep apnea, and that's not the full story. Back then, there were rumors that a mysterious lady was with Pimp just before he passed away. Journalist Julia Beverly, who published Pimp B's biography, Sweet Jones, Pimp B's Trill Life Story, stated Pimp B's mother was certain her son was poisoned, but those assertions were swiftly buried. Mom never bought the official explanation and thought he was killed. Well, his mother thinks he was murdered. She essentially explains why she thinks that. Well, I couldn't really since there is some circumstantial evidence that may lead you to assume that. I had some other professionals go over the autopsy report and other physical evidence, but they weren't able to reach a firm decision about whether there was any foul play or anything like that. However, many people have heard that he passed away from A. That was really, the day he died or the day the test results and other things were published, the coroner stated, he did not overdose. And then you had all these headlines. Codeine overdose, which is completely untrue. That said he overdosed, which was just a careless media report. However, the official explanation was that he had sleep apnea, which is a disorder that may make it difficult for you to essentially stop breathing in your. Although it is possible that it may have occurred that way, there are other hypotheses that I kind of explore in the book. The tale was that he took some codeine, which kept his body from waking up as it typically would. He was with someone who was a very shady, unusual character when he died away, and his mother believes that he was poisoned. According to his mother, there was a person of interest who was involved in his death. Since there is no hard proof of a Beyonce Pimp B recording or a link between Jay and Pimp B's death, I was unable to reach a firm conclusion, but I have presented all the information so that people can kind of make their own decisions. One fan said, "No one finds it interesting that she has been touring for how many years?" Fans continue to believe that there is a larger conspiracy behind all of this. Additionally, the song Check On It, which featured Slim Thug and Buni, who were UGK, Pimp C, and Buni, never plays. I'm beginning to accept all these notions I used to dismiss, and someone else remarked that far too many dots are joining.